Let's check a stream here. And that's kind of faint. Test audio. Why is that audio? Is it because the advanced scene switchers lowered the audio to that percentage so that I am not as loud as I want to be. And because that, but if I wiggle this mouse over here, then the volume is louder. Is it? Is it louder? That was kind of. I don't hear those side tones either. That quality is really low. That's just YouTube. And why is the chat not? Doc close. Doc chat. There we go. Stats window. Advanced scene switcher has a dock. And I am on standard Wi-Fi, which that's got a little. Why is that set that way? There. You. Why is it set weird like that? Night. Okay. So I want to turn off the, if I'm in solo, I don't really need the audio captured. Yeah, turn you off. '80 night. Can I turn you off? And I turn you off. So I don't do anything on the audio when I'm in solo mode. Turn you off, turn you off. So now my audio should be 100% if I manually switch it back. There we go. There. And there, and there. And if I were to do on desktop, if I capture audio output, then maybe that would audio output capture voice meter input. That maybe it's not outputting to you. VBAN. It's coming from bus A1. Wiggle this mouse. Wiggle this mouse. So I'm just trying to get my, I was going to do some coding here, and I am doing some coding on the Night versus Night app, and I wanted to join Discord, but my own Discord, not, let me make sure I'm not capturing any audio on this guy. Yeah, not capturing you. But that would be voice meter input you. And that might have been the same thing over here. That's output capture, voice meter input is the default, which is the input, but I'm going to specifically hard code the input. Voice meter input's not doing that, so the bam, there we go. Now that might be too loud. Is that too loud? And let me turn this one all the way down. Bam, bam. And let me pull up you and turn you all the way down. So somehow that's coming from the stream. And that's audio coming from the stream. Okay, that was correct. That was coming from the stream. And that volume, if I bump it to 1 here, that volume's not so bad. I did think that was a little loud on the background volume. So let's do that and that. So I have an app that I use to make this. Let me put this. I think that volume's all right. If I come into this stream, I can't tell how far I am into it. I am 10 minutes into the stream. I'm going to go ahead and mute this. But if I come 10 minutes into the stream and look for how the audio might sound, hopefully my voice is louder than the background sound. The background sound is intentional, aesthetic for this experience. And all the beeps and bonks too. You just heard that bump, so 3, 2, 1, that sound. I hope that came across. Let's try this again. I think that came across as that beep. Let's see how far we are into the stream now. We're a minute 20 into the stream. And that that's the sound where the bar goes yellow. So I have that. Yeah, I don't care about streamer mode. I don't think I'm gonna be showing anything specifically here. So, like passwords or secrets or keys or anything. So I'll background this in here, and I don't think I need this utils. Am I wiggling? The stream is a little behind. That's fine. That's there. I can even restore this. Bam. Nope. Bam. Put you off to the side. You're docked. And shove you there. And shrink you a little bit. Yeah. So I have software that makes this possible. If you notice on the stream, you can see in the upper right corner of the top screen and the upper right corner of the bottom screen, one is white and one is black. If I think this is fine. Background you. I think I can close you. And this is where I am, and I'll shrink it to here. So yeah, you can see that. And then here, I will wiggle my mouse over here, and it switches over, and I'll explain that in a second. And we don't need this, I don't believe. And so the Night 55 is, I can develop on it. I have Visual Studio on it, but Community. But I'm not really using it unless I kind of have to debug something on it. Usually in the software app, this one here, I can fake into either night mode or Knigget mode. And where it just turned yellow is a new feature I just added that it detects being idle for, I've set it to a minimum of 5 seconds. Originally thought like 30 to 60, but now that I'm using it and interacting with it, I just like the 5 seconds seems to be the ideal value. And what this does is that if I have two PCs here side by side, I should set up the camera, the overhead cam. I used to have one. Yeah, my place is a mess. There's a long cable that I gotta run for that. Might look into doing that. Is this camera on? That's a little odd that that camera says it's on when I'm not actually using it, I don't think. But whatever. When I wiggle, let's see. So on the screen, you have Knigget, and Night on the small screen, picture-in-picture-ish in a way. I want to show the full screen. I didn't want to cover up part of the screen. When it comes to gaming, I feel like that's kind of important. It's not so much a picture-in-picture requirement. It's really a picture-below-picture type of setup, where I have kind of the lower third in a way. It's not really a third, but it's close enough. And what is that blob that's highlighted? Oh, I hit the wrong mouse. This blob is the microphone, so, but it is muted, which is fine. I'm not using it. That is, you can still hear me through that, yeah. And the other thing on the screen, I could actually capture the desktop in this mode. I'd be willing to share out this application or window capture deprecated on the Mac. Window capture, display capture. Kind of only want to do, well, I'll just kind of try to be a little, it's deprecated, but there's no display capture yet. We'll say okay. We'll shrink this one down to this lower size here. And then you can kind of see more of the whole setup. Shrink it really small, dock it, bam, and then if I will look better, center it. Duh. If I center it horizontally. Yeah, I mean, that works. Is it more obvious if I shove this over here on this side? It might be more obvious. And then if I move you down and copy and paste a reference and move you down, we'll put you at the bottom. And you don't really need to see in too much detail what I'm doing on in the lower left corner on the actual streaming PC, the one that's truly going out to the services. So I have. So that's as I was fiddling with something on my streaming PC. It's a laptop off on the side here. I have a Knigget PC and a Night PC and then a streaming laptop that's doing the actual streaming. But the software that's running right now, Knigget is the main PC and Night is the secondary PC. And this software that's running in the upper right corner of both screens is listening. You see the little yellow highlighted group box. They're saying that they're both waiting for input. So that when I wiggle the mouse on one of them, then it will send a command out to OBS WebSocket to change the scene. So right now, Knigget's already in the foreground as the primary. So I'm going to reach over to the night PC and just touch its mouse or its keyboard, whatever, and it will instantly swap over. And similarly, since Knigget was already primed without being touched, I can also swap it over, and I can swap these over back and forth by just moving the mouse. And I need to hear that side tone, the da-da-da-da-da sound, which I hope comes across on the stream. So just added this feature. I've had this set up for like, I don't know, 5 years or more, about 5 or 6 years, and I don't know why I never thought of handling this mouse jiggling to trigger OBS scene source switching. So that's what these applications do. The other one, there's another field box called primary, which has got the black box around it here, which is set to kind of automate the keyboards a little bit, where I can change the color. I want it jiggled. Anyway. So they can control the keyboard color, but I don't actually have the thing plugged in to control the keyboard switching. I'm not really using the primary and secondary features right now. The main thing I'm using it for right now is scene switching. So when I wiggle the mouse is what I'm doing right now. It'll just toggle between these. Again, I wiggle Night 55's mouse, I wiggle W for the side tone, and 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. There we go. Now I can wiggle this mouse. So the 5 seconds is kind of the minimum time. I can always reach over to the laptop and force switch over. I have Stream Decks where I could force switch over with the push of a button, but usually a 5-second delay when I'm gaming between the two, if I'm switching back and forth between the two PCs, is quite a bit. If I were to launch a game in this mode, you might even be more obvious what there's a new 4.2. I can update that. I'll update you. I'll launch you and update. You are not remembering me, so I will do something here. And grab this. Yep. Yep. Close. Nothing that I care about is showed on this. And I don't care if any of that stuff gets shown. And then this, update the game. Get that one to go. Interesting, it doesn't capture, OBS doesn't capture the secure desktop. The UAC, user access control desktop. I may see if I can, for any sticklers out there, I might see if I can post-process where I popped up my password here and throw a card over the top of that or somehow redact it, but the information shown does not concern me. This update is going to be a little slow if I finish this one, pause it. Let the other one finish. So I've got this code's doing pretty well at the moment. There's not anything, none of these changes are important anymore. They're just some configs. And even if I showed this password that's in these 3 config files, it's not a big deal because it's a local WebSocket password. I'm just not showing them for practice reasons, really. So I'll finish this download. Should be just a moment. This is a private repo. I'm not really open sourcing the secret sauce that I've implemented. I currently don't have any plans to open source it. I do not mind like showing off the code in a stream or presenting it in a stream. People are welcome to glean any snippets that I do flash on the screen. I have no problem with that. So that is done, and resume the other one here. So if this is up to date, and I launch it, you'll see more of the effect here. Hopefully the other one finishes up pretty fast. It is not switching. Why are you not switching? Oh yeah, it did, sorry. This is also just kind of a test to see if standard Wi-Fi, I think it's just Wi-Fi 5, is good enough to have the laptop stream out. It is on Wi-Fi, but it's on a docking station, which is also Ethernet in, so I'm really not sure whether it's really going out the gigabit or the Wi-Fi stream. That one is still updating. I might as well. How full is this? It's not very full, so we can just join. So if I wiggle that mouse, that becomes available. And if I wiggle this mouse, that becomes available. And I think you hear the kind of the warm side tone. I wanted that side tone on the application so that I know that in general, if I can hear that warm side tone, hello, if I can hear that warm side tone, then I know that the accompanying software is running. It is titled NvK-Agent, but that's the name that it's had for, I guess, like, it's actually maybe a bit less than a year. It might be slightly over a year. The name was not meant, I think even at the time of that I came up with that name, agent didn't mean in this software industry what agent means nowadays. I've always been working on since like 2019, 18, 17, somewhere around there. a thing called an agent Smith. I've been using the phrase agent for 7, 8 years. It's not a new word. I'm not claiming any credit for it. I'm rambling here, but basically this NvK-Agent is not an AI agent. It is just a name that I gave it before agent became what it is currently referred to as now nearly a synonym for artificial intelligence. That one is done, so I can launch this. And when I wiggle this mouse, that comes to the foreground, and I'll even stand it up. What I don't have is my overhead camera set up. It's in the other room. I was using it a year or two ago for random purposes. I haven't really set it back up, my overhead camera, which you can it looks down on the desk and you can see how I reach from keyboard to keyboard. Now I'm going to reach over to this one and wiggle its mouse and join it join, and this one join back in. So now I have automatic, basically, I'm calling it cinematography.
The next shuttle is approaching the station.
Should I get? I'm just gonna go to the.
Last call for passengers. The shuttle is preparing to
recently. It's usually there for Invictus.
Please clear the hatch. Shuttle will be departing.
Fleet Week and stuff, but I guess the guard's permanently stationed there. So, and that if you heard that side tone, that just tells me in the game that it's now ready for me to take over, and if it wasn't already the primary, as soon as I wiggle that mouse it will become the primary video. Meanwhile on this one, hey, look at that, it just joined as I wiggled the mouse. That'd be sweet if that worked. So this one should be full health. And as I stand here for a second, you'll hear a beep. Maybe not on this because I'm not streaming its audio the same way. Yeah, I'm not streaming Knight's audio. There is no audio coming from Knight, so let me
approaching next station. If this is your stop,
while I reach
please
over
prepare
here
to disembark.
This.
Last call for passengers. The shuttle is preparing to depart.
And now I can wiggle over here.
Friendly reminder to check for your personal belongings before and last call for passengers.
Right.
The shuttle is preparing to depart.
And let's get the. I am intentionally desktop streaming, so let's bring up OBS and have it do.
Last call for passengers. The shuttle is preparing to
the
depart.
same thing. It's doing a display capture with no game capture, which is why. So I want to do the same thing that this is doing, which is audio output capture voice meter. Test 1, 2, and you probably have the same. No, you're fine. So why is no audio getting played? Because the game.
Our recently redesigned Crusader Industries shuttlecraft features expanded Vista opportunities with their signature crystal canopies.
So if I just captured what's the name of this one real quick? audio output capture.
At Orson Skyway Shuttle Service, we aim to make getting there half the fun. Please enjoy your flight.
And if I call it...
The next shuttle is approaching the station.
Voice meter N1.
The next shuttle is approaching the station. Last call for passengers. The shuttle is preparing to depart. Missed your shuttle? The next shuttle is approaching the station.
Out there.
Last call for passengers. The shuttle is preparing to depart.
I don't have these two set up the same way.
At Orson Skyway Shuttle Service, we aim to make getting there half the fun. Please enjoy your flight. The next shuttle is approaching the station.
This one.
Last call for passengers. The shuttle is preparing to depart.
What's odd here is that stereo input 1. What's the...
Last call for passengers. The shuttle is preparing to depart. At Orson Skyway Shuttle Service, last call for passengers. The shuttle is preparing to depart.
Is that when I set its audio upload? If I go back to here, does that bring up? Yeah, it resets that. That's fine actually. I'm okay with that. You are going into voice meter. I don't understand why this says it's going to voice meter input, but yet this level is tickling right here. So maybe V-band is saying
the shuttle is preparing to depart.
N1 on K system. Right.
Last call for passengers.
Okay.
The shuttle is preparing to depart.
So I don't actually want it to go 1. I want it to go to 4.
Providing connections to all major platforms, Crusader Industries is happy to offer free and convenient transit to all visitors aboard the Orson Skyway Shuttle Service.
4.
Have a pleasant stay.
Outgoing. It's going out
The
to
next shuttle
you.
is approaching the station.
And we'll see if that's...
The
Hello.
next shuttle call for passengers. The shuttle is
Sweaty.
preparing to depart.
You playing? It's hot, warm. Let's...
Last call for passengers. The
Let's
shuttle
game
is preparing to
timeout.
depart.
So that's okay. I do want to have this switch over to this meter N1. That'll make
A friendly reminder to check for your personal belongings before and after all shuttle flights, and to dispose of any trash at appropriate receptacles. No stress,
cables?
no mess.
I don't have any virtual cables. I guess I don't have my virtual cables installed. Okay.
Enjoying the view?
Which is
Our
probably true.
recently
Because over
redesigned
here,
Crusader
I'm pretty
Industries
sure I do have the
shuttlecraft
virtual
features
cables
expanded
installed.
vista opportunities with their signature
Yeah,
crystal
there's
cameras.
cables. So I don't have the virtual cables installed on this one. I don't mind installing them,
The next shuttle is approaching the station.
but it's a lot of distractions. I'd have to download them. I'm not going to install them right now.
The next shuttle is approaching. Last call for passengers. The shuttle is preparing
So
to
the
station.
game is outputting to
The next shuttle is approaching the station.
voice meter N1.
Last call for passengers. The shuttle is preparing to depart. Enjoying the view? Our recently redesigned Crusader in the next shuttle is approaching the station. Last call for passengers. The shuttle is preparing to depart.
Still no audio. Scroll down.
Missed your shuttle?
Right
Not a
here.
problem. Another shuttle will be along. Next shuttle is approaching the station.
Voice meter in 1.
Last call for passengers. The shuttle is preparing to depart.
If I were to capture from the game a voice meter in 1.
Providing connections to all major platforms, Crusader Industries is happy to offer free and convenient transit to all visitors aboard the Orson Skyway shuttle service. Have a pleasant stay.
Test 1, 2.
The next shuttle is approaching the station.
Set you.
The next shuttle is approaching the station.
To input.
Last call for passengers. The shuttle is preparing to depart.
Output capture. I want an input capture.
Last call for passengers. The shuttle is preparing to depart.
Let's jump. Switch here. Jump.
Enjoying the view? Our recently redesigned shuttle is.
So you can see that I can easily just wiggle the mouse and move over. Wiggle this mouse. So now I need to make no change on OBS for it to automatically jump between scenes. And this is kind of my standard way I play is I have to get an elevator on one character while the other one's waiting, and I run this one. So there's usually more than 5 seconds of wait on the other side. I'll try to bring up the code of where I'm working on a Windows virtual keyboard mouse virtual HID device that I can inject basically mouse and keyboard cloning so that I can run them together at the same time. So while I wait on that, I come over here and I run this one. But now I don't have to worry about hitting an OBS or a Stream Deck button. It's all automatic because of the software detecting the mouse movement. And there comes that. So while I'm over here, I'll run on here and get on this. And actually I want to go to my hangar up here, so and then I'll run this one. There, hydration's 90, so I can run this while I just missed that one, so now I gotta sit here and wait for a moment. Now I can wiggle this, come here. Way down there, so I can run halfway. I should just run it anyway, but this one should come over, take over. I can basically keep running on that one, and that's just fine. So here's a kind of a test right here. If I leave both alone, and now does this, now it's the wiggling, it doesn't. As long as I'm holding and actively moving on one of them, I'd have to let go and wait 5 seconds. So here's kind of the negative side. I heard the beeps, you know, So I just kind of tinker with this app and the code and the logic to improve the streaming setup between these two side-by-side PCs. And it's coming along pretty fluid. Whose helmet is this? Is that a red box? I thought I saw red. Is that red from the light? Yeah, it's just red from the light. Looked, but there's no red light, so I wonder why it looked red. Whatever. Junk. Junk. Bodies. Is there a way to like clean up these dead bodies, especially the ones that are wigging out? I do have a... No, I don't. But hey, look at that. You fixed yourself. I recall that not being so black before. Fast, and of course I cannot. This is my home city. I should have my hangar, but maybe I have to spawn a ship. I can do other things like because now I'm not doing auto detection. I can. The software can, that's a good idea. I could add that maybe in this stream. One new code that I add to, this is the one that's running. So I have a dev version that I can launch. And pull up the design and add in, bug. Visual Studio. I could have a second section here. To be another slider timer. Down a little, pretty crowded. And we'll call this timeout alert or something. One label timeout. Keyboard inactivity. Label inactivity timeout. I'll just call this one inactivity. And we'll call this one track bar inactivity. Call this one idle seconds. And inactivity. Seconds. So that when changed. Here's the value changed on hue. So it's not going to be really that. It's a new section, but it would be this kind of related code. And then there's a sweet little Codex way of doing things too, which is I could point it to the code, and I'm kind of curious to see. I test this. I use this as a proof of whether AGI is here or not. Add a, and it's gonna. I know what I can already predict what it's gonna do. It's gonna just produce trash. But just showing that I'm open-minded to letting AI try to code it. Inactivity timeout. Label. Track bar. And read-only text box. Similar to the idle timeout. That sets activity. One thing that's good with doing this is that by talking with AI, it kind of helps you word the problem a little better, and just by doing that, it kind of helps you as a human figure it out. Because if you just if you give it junk words, it's going to produce junk code. But if you give it a good specification, it might produce good code. So it's an inactivity timeout. And the timeout elapses. Plays Weavers, okay. Okay. Plays a warning sound that the user plays a is it 5 minutes? Is the app inactivity timeout 5 minutes? About 5 minutes. So that if the mouse keyboard doesn't move for 5 minutes, then, but that's actually in the game. The problem is a decoupling between the game seeing the mouse movement or not. So it'd have to be keyed off of if the mouse movement was done while the game was in the foreground. For this truly to work, and that's part of talking through this with an AI. It helps you kind of figure out some of the stuff you need to do. For this truly to work, the keyboard mouse activity would need to only inactivity would need to time when the mouse while star. Is the foreground app. And it's probably pretty easy to add that code and then the timer and have maybe a separate timer instead of one just to know if your mouse is wiggling system-wide to control OBS. It's a separate one to know if your mouse is wiggling while the game is in the foreground. Plays a warning sound. So, this is probably not a good specification, but I'm kind of curious what it can do with this, and if it's trash, then just, try it again. So I can send this off and let it code, let it do its thing. We'll see how. Oh, there we go. We'll let this thing figure out what it's doing. Meanwhile, this one was going to grab this code and I'm going to shove it in up here near the top, and then I'll find a better home for it. Oops, grab that. Right about in here. So I will let that sit there for a moment, and this will be the inactivity timeout. Probably need a separate timer for it, and this is going to be a setting, and so I could just be on settings. Is it down here or up here? Properties, settings. I can say inactivity timeout seconds. It's going to be an int. Let's say it's, so it'll be 60 seconds, so 570? There you can see so cat's out of the bag on my OBS WebSocket password. There you go. I'm not concerned. But it's sort of one of the problems of live streaming coding sessions is if you give away API keys or secrets or something like that. So just got to pay attention. So inactivity timeout seconds setting. And so now I could come up to say go. And these should come back. I could have used this will be there'll be an update routine here in a second. This, I'll probably do the same. I couldn't find a way, and this is part of why I'm kind of doing these live stream coding sessions. Is I don't expect anybody to join, but I was just kind of hoping that having an imaginary friend in here would help me, or maybe a real friend, but even imaginary, help me figure out these things. The track bar doesn't have the ability to change the increment value. That I can't. I can set the ticks and stuff, but they're kind of absolute. You can't programmatically have it a move slide and have it increment by 5. It's only ever single value increments that you then have to go in and multiply by 5 yourself. This seems to be the way it works. Jump this. Jump this. And so there'll be another InputIdleDetector, but it's gonna be a little different than this. It's gonna be only when when a certain process is in the foreground. So it's a foreground app InputIdleDetector by watching a process. And then I'm curious with that note to self here, how this thing works out. If it does a good job coding it or not. Sometimes it does an okay job, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it was the problem with specification or not. So, yeah, I got to think about how to do this for a process. I have an idea in my head. I could maybe even limited scope tell the codex to implement an InputIdleDetector that monitors input only when a specified process is in the foreground. Only when there's mouse movement while a given process is in the foreground. In fact, if I were to come out and let this to be modify to limit keyboard mouse timeout idle detection to only when a specified process is in the foreground. Example. Process 1.exe is in the background. Don't start a timer. Process 1.exe comes to the foreground. No input. Don't start a timer. process one exe backgrounds. Don't reset timer. Input while is in the background. Don't reset, restart the timer. Process one comes to the foreground and inputs, reset, restart the timer. Timer. Go. See what happens on you. Jump. Jump. So this one's done. Let's see what it messed up. Okay, it added the designer. I did not expect that. Before, it just literally, the Codex before just shoved it right into the source code. It created the controls right in the source code. It's like, really? It's pretty sad. It gave some space for the panel. This viewer doesn't really do a great job clearing out white space, and plus it's adding these stray characters on the end, or I don't know why it says there's a difference here, because there's no difference on these lines, except that it added this inactivity timeout seconds, and I think it, yeah, whatever. That's fine. Blah 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 blah. See, this, like, nothing changed. Why is this a diff? It did change here. This changed, but yet, you know, why didn't it show that as the diff change? So, hopefully, OpenAI and their brilliant genius billion-dollar, trillion-dollar valuation will figure it out. It's hard to read. Hard to read. Let's just get into the code. Again, another hard to read, where they have an inactivity, okay, coming up with a separate inactivity idle detector. And their inactivity warning, there we go, just kind of making up a sound. It's fine, I can fill in that. Input idle detector, inactivity idle detector. On idle, time span from seconds, inactivity timeout seconds. Where's the setting? They have the settings designer, they added the settings. It's pretty close to what I would do, except that I would want to limit it to a fancier version that detects the foreground process. So that's fine. It's throwing in the stop here. Otherwise, there's no changes. Like, horrible diffs. No changes. Zero changes. Plus, it's got these CRLF, LF, because it's coding it .NET and Unix, of course. Which causes problems later on. Once you merge this and bring it back in, yeah. Discord. Okay. This is divided by 30, whatever. Yeah, it's weird, but fine. Here's the these guys. Activity warning, play, stop. That can be fine-tuned for usability purposes in the resources designer. And resources, it made a sound file, but did it actually create the file? Well, I mean, that's cool. If it created a binary file. I'm curious to create that pull request, at least as a draft. Binary file's not supported. Nice. Alright. I've been streaming for an hour and 15. So, binary file not shown. What's this gonna copy though? Copied file name. So that's lame. Clearly Codex is, and it won't even let me create the pull request. I didn't ask it to create the sound file. I didn't ask it not to. So, whatever. MS, you need my help. Salt gun. Salt gun. Alright, I'll be back. What'd you make? Ooh, necklace. Yeah. Alright, I'll be right up. Alright, I'm gonna, I'll be back. Taking a away from keyboard break. Alright, be back. Alright, back. And I got a water to snack real quick, so going mute for a moment. Sorry, still snacking here. seems to have done a pretty good job. I don't know if I have that in my utils or not. I don't. So it's a little what I want is kind of the aggregate. I don't know if aggregate's the right word, but timer enabled. Timer enabled. What it's not doing is it needs to watch. Maybe if it's just during movement. Maybe that might do the job. So this is pretty self-contained. So what I don't have are tests. My code here in this project is pretty flimsy, or I don't have any tests, which makes it difficult to add code from another, even me, but from an unknown reliable source and see if it didn't break anything. Yeah, it doesn't know how to do .net. But this seems pretty reasonable. So I could do a draft. And timer enabled. Where does timer enabled get set? Is a slight mystery. What's going on? So update activity sets it to true. And update activity is called whenever there's that. Alright, well. And then I can pull it, I can choose to pull it down. So here's the branch that it created. I could switch over, it's on main, so I can easily just switch over. And then see if that would work with my additional changes on top of you. So, it had a reasonable start with some of the stuff in here. Let's skip over most of this layout stuff for the moment. I could put it down here since it's new stuff. Inactivity idle detector, and then it's initialized. Just deal with this. They're gonna fake a sound for now. We should probably jump. Here. Let's go ahead and make generate these. The max min values on the max instead of 24, we're gonna say that it's every 5 seconds, so it's gonna be probably 30. It's pretty obvious. If it's 540, 5 times 60 is 300. And then 300 divided by 5. So 60. It's gonna be, and that's 5 minutes, 10 minutes. It's going to be 120. Let's say 120, and this is where you're going to see that, bam, there's a whole lot of ticks there, and each one of those is 5 seconds, and that's just not nice. For test reasons, I want the minimum to be 1, which will really be 5 seconds. Then the tick frequency is going to be 2, so how about every 5? That's okay. And it's going to start off with a value of 6, but we're going to say really 4.5. So where's my calculator? 4.5 times 60 divided by 5, 54. It's really useless beyond the actual timeout, so we'll fine tune it. Saying over here, and this Copilot might even complete it pretty well too. Just leaving those alone. Already grabbed you. The exit, we're gonna say, gonna stop you on exit. So that's a good catch. The no change. Inactivity timeout seconds. That is true. We can grab you. And we'll put you up here with this blob. And we'll move you later. And actually it's going to be that value is in seconds, so that's all fine. It's meant from seconds, and it updates the text. So that's good. I don't care about you. It's not part of the WebSocket stuff, so I'm actually going to decouple you. InputIdleDetector, so here if I said you, the sound's gonna be off, and this is the after idle. This is the sound. I'm gonna play this sound for it'll be a, at the moment I don't care how it sounds. That's fine. You're set. Oh, that's the end. Then there's the sound itself. There's the setting itself. Okay. So that's pretty much it of that. So it's kind of using Codex and stuff. It's kind of let it a junior, let an intern, let someone not as human experienced do an educated. It's going to do a competent job. It's hard to say. Sometimes you would hope that it would write legal code. It's going to know the language. It's going to know C#. It's going to know Python. It's going to know the language. It's going to know the legal language. May get the libraries wrong. It may make a few weird assumptions. It may not know what your version of compiler is. But it's going to be in that, and you can then spin that. You can either clarify it with a second pass. Oh, I meant, sorry, I'm limited to C# 2000. I don't even know what the version of C# is nowadays. So that probably compiles. Now, if I quit this one, you Pro. Oh, whoa. Wow, this battery is, 26%, so, yeah, whatever. So, successful build. I closed you. If I run you, what is gonna happen? Inactivity. So I think it broke. No, that worked. It appears to have not broken that. The scroll change isn't updating that. Make sure that's even firing. It is firing. Inactivity timeout seconds. Not 570, but what did I say? 270? Still should have fallen into that range. Not sure why you're coming back as 5. Nor why you're not updating. Split down, double check what you're doing. It's way down here. Yeah, it's just time spanning inactivity idle detector. Is it let's run an exception. Whereas the value is 5. What's the value 5? Jump. Inactivity seconds is 5. It's coming in as 5. Why are you 5? I told you to be 270. Why are you coming in as 5? Oh. Still. On the trigger. $270. It's right there. Serialize the string. What the? Sometimes I'm going crazy. $270. And then this one would be because it's not running. Haha. There we go. Wow, why am I not seeing this? Settings. Alright, well then let's step into that. Can we F11 into that? In the context menu for the line being executed by step into specific or unchecking the option, okay. Yeah, cute. Alright, and this breakpoint. RE5. The app is not setting it. I don't know why I closed it. Let's try this again. Try this again. What's there? Breakpoint right there. Okay, let's just do this. I think it got saved as something weird. It's equal to 270. This. Yeah. This is setter, and I have a breakpoint in there, and it didn't go into it. I have a breakpoint right here. Why aren't you going into it? You should be hitting this. It's my call stack. Okay. I can move you. In fact, I think I should be setting you up before I do any of this. Okay. Jump. Jump. Because we're not running. Okay. F10 goes into here. Settings. Save. That was a step in. Yeah, sure. Null reference set on inactivity idle detector. Because it's right. This does have to be first. There you go. Valuation. 270. I can null safe it. Because of I'm setting it ahead of time. So I can null safe you. Oh, might as well. Look at that, 270. Well, I don't know what's going on there. That was freaky. But jeez. That's why. I think that's my fault. Maybe not your fault. I didn't grab your code. I think I used my code because your code had that, and I just kind of glanced over it. Okay. All right, 270. Do 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 do. think it's just out. outside the ship. Okay. WebSocket not connected. So. Oh, I think I just hit spacebar. Ah, I don't have this inside of the... I missed that. Rock. Stop this. Go back to... turn off you, because you were just an accident. Normalizing to remove the quote. It figured that out. It knew that that didn't have a without extension. That's cool. Dot to lower. And then lower. that was the sound there. So okay, that gets us started. So that got I heard the sound. I have a couple of it's pretty loud. Hello. Where are you going? Well, okay.
Auto initiation of the EMH program occurred when a ship-wide red alert was initiated.
What's up?
Implement the Omega Directive immediately. All other priorities have been rescinded.
Incoming transmission.
Initiating decoupling sequence. Auto separation in 10 seconds.
Thank you. Thanks for being safe.
Proximity alert. Vessel approaching. The vessel is hailing. Security authorization required. Security code intact for all specified inquiries and orders. Just looking for kind of an airy sound. Okay, we got some of those sounds. So downloads. Sounds the same as it's just shorter. Alright, so we could go 1, 2. That could be like a minute out from disconnect, 30 seconds from disconnect.
on the table. So, 1 minute, 30 seconds, imminent.
What time is it?
6:15.
Okay.
Plus a minute. Let's get these guys. So this will be. Just a simple alert 7. A minute left. Alert 7. Resources. Hello?
Hey, can you have the girls start taking showers, please? I am in downtown Kirkland and I'm gonna start heading home, but when I was driving down, traffic was pretty bad heading up, so I don't know how long it's gonna take me. For dinner, I was just going to cook the ground turkey and then like mix that in
Okay.
Just approaching straight into it. I don't know. And then maybe add another side of veggies, because he's kind of veggie thin.
Mm-hmm.
So the girls could, or you could, the girls could pick something out of the freezer, or anything there's shard.
There you go, you got that figured out. Streaming still, 2 hours and 40 minutes. Just having fun with I mean, if this is what you call fun. Let's wiggle this mouse. Let's wiggle this mouse. Let's go back to here. We have that, so I can be eminent for you. Seconds for you, or we can wiggle you and then come out. That works. So the timeout, what is the Star Citizen timeout? If I can get this on. Star Citizen keyboard timeout. I think it's 5 minutes. 1 year ago. Alright. So 270. So now we have, it's not a jiggler. Alright, so the only thing, what I want is kind of a countdown of like a 30-minute warning, and I could put in, like feed in another argument to insert 60-second and 30-second and 15-second pre-warnings. So let me comment out this logging. Repeat, please. Alright, I think I got a basic V1 of this working with a 4.5 minute timeout. So we will come into here and we will see if we can get the display info 1. We have a clock server clock server time 1:34. So we do a 1:35. 50, 51, 52, 53, 4, 5, 6, 8, 59, 60. Alright, 135. That's idling. And I could set a background indicator around you. Form main will add a note to do a to-do background indicator around to-do group box with border color to indicate triggered, indicate state. Okay. InputIdleDetector is foreground process match. Oh, I didn't take that out. So I will just comment you out. We don't need you. So we will come into our. I don't think we changed much in you, if anything. Nothing in common. And then I pretty much only want to change anything inside of the InputIdleDetector. What do you say? Yeah, sounds great. Code works. Is it perfect? It never is. System IO for the process stuff, I guess. Timer enabled. Timer change. Timer enabled. Timer change. Yeah, some natives. That's fine. See, there we go. That was 35. 39, 40, yep, that worked. I do think it's a 10-minute timeout. So, I reset already. I think it's a 10-minute timeout. Normalize process name. Doesn't update. It needs to call update activity. Only on first. Update activity. Didn't change at all? Surely update activity changed a little. Timer enabled, got added to update activity. Of course it did. Right there. Okay, just didn't pop it on here. Update activity. The timer enabled true. So if it's if the process if is match dab dab deep dab do. Peepa poopa pa satada badasiya vnyamana. Huh? I'm in a ship. 169. Alright, jiggle the mouse at 147. Jiggle the mouse at 147. Now I want to know from 147 if it's a 10 or 15 minute timeout. This we're going to close. Doesn't work on the first run. Has to have movement. Timer enabled as if process match. There we go. board.